Hey everybody, and thanks for pulling up a seat at the ink table. If you're new around here, then welcome. And if you're returning, we've been keeping your seat warm. This video is a little different than our normal podcast episode or unboxing or news coverage that you typically see on this channel. It's actually the second video in a special series that focuses on grading your cards. As players slash collectors who have fallen deep into their first TCG over the past 2 years, we've amassed a fairly decent collection. So for us, the next logical thing is to have our cards graded. But as it turns out, learning how to grade your cards and navigating community feedback, it's a beast in its own. So we are attempting to make things easier by providing information and sharing our own experiences. Just a couple of quick things. Number one, this video is not intended to preach to you and say, hey, you need to get your cards graded. You absolutely have to do it because, in truth, grading isn't for everybody. And we'll talk a little more about that later. And number two, this video is in no way sponsored by any of the companies mentioned in this video and will be filled with blunt but educational statements and personal opinions. So, why have your cards graded in the first place? One of the major reasons, and the reason that I am most personally concerned about, is protecting your cards and protecting your collection. Part of the grading process is having your cards securely placed in these clear cases known as slabs that help prevent the cards from becoming damaged. In the past, I've been really bad whenever it comes to certain like enchanteds and promos and stuff. And I'll be honest, I kind of put them in penny sleeves and shoved them in a box and then pushed that box away into a corner somewhere. And to be fair, that's not really the best way to take care of your collection or to display your collection. The other major reason to grade your cards is value. While all cards have a base value, having them graded can dramatically increase that number depending on how pristine of a condition that card is in. A card freshly ripped from a pack, in theory, should be more pristine than one that's been lightly played. Therefore, it should be more valuable. This is important to collectors and players who have little sentimental value to their collection, and maybe they plan in the future to sell or trade pieces of their collection, whether for money or other assets or other cards that may cost even more. And unfortunately, there's a not so hidden detail that also plays a role whenever it comes to the value of a graded card. And that is the company that you have graded. Maybe you've heard of some of these. Tag, for instance, which we already did a video on. And right after this one, you can go check out John's experience and how it went for him whenever he graded with Tag. Or, I don't know, CGC, Beckett, or PSA. This video and the company that I chose to grade my cards with is none of these. In truth, I'm not sure I could afford to. These large and notable companies, they've kind of cornered the market and set prices way out of mine and many other people's budgets. And that is the main reason that I chose to grade my cards with C3Grading. So, who is C3Grading? It's probably someone that many of you, even if you're veterans whenever it comes to grading cards, have never even heard of before. And to be fair, I hadn't either. Not until the recent past, whenever John actually sent me a link to these guys, because he knew my plight and he knew my dilemma. I'm the kind of person who truly believes that it shouldn't cost an arm and a leg to grade your cards. I shouldn't have to make a decision of, do I purchase cards or do I send cards off to be graded? Because I would like to be able to do both of those things. I want to have a good collection, but at the same time, that part of grading your cards and having them preserved and slabbed and put in cases so they're protected overall, That part is really important to me. And I should be able to do that, in my opinion. I should be able to do that at a reasonable price. And it's kind of like pants, right? Or even underwear, as weird as that is. These larger companies, they're name brand companies who can charge more simply because they've been around and they have a name associated with them. But I just want to wear pants. Like, I shouldn't have to go off and pay Buckle or American Eagle or Abercrombie and Finch prices or whatever whenever I just want a pair of pants that's reliable that I can wear and put on. So, weird analogy, weird metaphor, C3 grading is that for me. They are a cheap alternative to the normal grading system and feedback that you would typically get. Because if you go ask someone right now, who should I send my cards off to? How do I get them graded? They're most likely going to tell you one of the big names that I mentioned earlier, especially PSA, because they're kind of the standard. So, what makes C3 grading different? First off, that price right there, $9 per card, starting out. Let me tell you, it can actually become cheaper than that, but $9 per card with no fees. What does that mean? From my understanding, with the people around me who have sent cards off to PSA and other places, depending on the value of the card, because as we discussed, once you get a card graded, its value can increase. If we were to send off a Enchanted Rockstar Stitch, for instance, from the first set championships in Lorcana, it has a certain value. And if you send it through PSA, it may only be liable, or they may only be liable to a certain price range. And if your card grades a 9, then cool, you're still within that price, you're still within that budget. But if you get a 10, for instance, which is the highest that you can possibly get when it comes to grading, then it may take the value of that card over that threshold, and now you're going to have to pay more in order to get that card back. C3 grading does not have any of these hidden fees. There are no fees at all whatsoever. So it's cheap, $9 per card compared to the normal 18, 20, 32, whatever it is at these other places. And we'll go over prices later and compare. Then another thing is this collar matching slabs. These slabs, just looking at them, to me, they really stand out. And I am grading my cards simply because I want to hold on to them. I want to preserve my collection, and I want to be able to display it and have them look good. There are so many other companies, Tag being really an odd man out here because I enjoy their slabs with the way that they're engraved and stuff. But even like PSA, for instance, who is the standard bearer for card grading, they kind of, this part right here up top, it just looks like a white piece of paper that they stuck in it. It doesn't look special to me. It doesn't look unique. They're not really one of one, whereas these are. Not only are these collar matching slabs, but every one of these slabs are completely unique and custom with a one-of-one design that comes specifically with your card. Another thing here is subgrades. So we'll get a better look at it later. Actually, I might be able to zoom in here just a little bit. There we go. Now I've zoomed in a little bit and we can get a better look. But most of the time, whenever you get a card graded, depending on who it's with, they give you this piece here that tells you what your score is overall, whether it's an 8, a 9, a 10, something lower. But they don't necessarily give you these subgrades that actually break that number down and tell you exactly why you received what you received. And yeah, this is just the basic generic 10s across the board, but as we'll see later, we'll be able to actually unbox some of the cards that I sent off and see how these different subgrades affect. And from what I understand also is this fading subgrade is something unique that not many people do, and C3 grading may be one of the only ones that do this, but most always focus on corner, surface, edges, centering, but then you also have fading. So if you have a card that's been set out and it's sun washed, or it's a really old card that's faded over time, maybe it would get a lower score here as well. So $9 per card starting out, no fees, collar matching, one of one slabs, subgrades, horizontal slabs. This is something as a Lorcana player that caught my interest as well because we have locations. And although locations aren't everybody's favorite, I thought it would be really cool to have like some of my enchanted locations, if they're going to be slabbed up, to have them horizontal to actually show off that art rather than a normal vertical slab. You have free return shipping, which at one point I don't think you necessarily did, because when I was originally looking at this company, they were charging a little bit more, and honestly, I thought that they were offsetting the price, even though it's like low value to actually get the card graded itself. The return shipping was a little outrageous, but for whatever reason, they now offer free return shipping, and I definitely took advantage of that. And then the biggest thing, especially compared to these other grading companies, is this turnaround time. So they offer, or they advertise, a 2 to 3 week timeline. So that is you shipping your card off the moment they receive it. 2 to 3 weeks from then, they should ship it back out to you, which is crazy because I'm hearing horror stories of other companies you're having to wait 75 days or however long, some like crazy long periods of time before you actually get your cards back. So who are these guys and where do they come from? I can tell you that they are based in Hollywood, Florida. And if we read this right here, this is because many of us haven't heard about these people or this company, so we can kind of learn together. It says here, at C3Grading, we are revolutionizing the collectibles grading industry with a fresh, customer-centric approach that sets us apart from the rest. Founded on the principles of transparency, affordability, and efficiency, we are committed to providing collectors, hobbyists, and enthusiasts with a superior grading experience that truly values their time, investment, and passion. Our mission is simple yet impactful: to offer better prices, faster turnaround times, and high quality slabs that elevate the presentation and protection of your cherished collectibles. We understand the excitement and pride that come with owning prized cards and memorabilia, and we believe that grading should enhance, not hinder, your enjoyment of the hobby. That's why we've designed a streamlined process that prioritizes both speed and precision without compromising on quality. That all sounds amazing, in my opinion. But the big question is, how true is any of this? This is a company, like I've said multiple times, many of us have not heard about. They are young and upcoming, so maybe that goes into their turnaround times being faster than most, because they don't have the backlog from years of experience and customer word of mouth bringing people in the door. So maybe they actually are able to put their money where their mouth is and do all of the things that they say in their mission statements and their about, and all these different things that they offer or advertise. Maybe it is true. But before you go and ship your stuff off, I'm here to test it out for you, and we can kind of decide together, I guess. Before we get to the unboxing, I want to point one thing out that it was actually brought to my attention shortly after I shipped my cards off to be graded, and that is that C3Grading has been nominated for an award. So apparently there is this company called Mantle, who in partnership with Yahoo Sports is having their inaugural Hobby Awards. So this is the first time that it's happening. And you can actually go in and vote and cast your votes until November 21st. This video should be going up before then. But they have all of these different categories, like Best Breaking Platform, Best Custom Art Card Artist, Best Marketplace, Best Hobby Shop, all kinds of different awards that they're giving out. But the one that we want to focus on here is Grading Company of the Year. Okay, so if we click on Grading Company of the Year, you can see the nominees, and you have your big hitters: the PSA, CGC, TAG, SGC, but then right there alongside them, you see C3 Grading. So this small upcoming company that we have not heard much about at all has their name thrown into the hat with all of these big time players nominated for Grading Company of the Year. With this in mind, my expectations are a little bit higher for what we're about to receive. To an extent. And I'll explain that later too. But this was super, super simple to ship off to them. If we go back over to their site, you can see here, it says how to submit. You can start a submission. And I'll be honest, all I did was come here, and you can put in the details if you like of whatever your card is, but they're also supposed to have a entire catalog that they can go through and find all the information for your card. You shouldn't need any of this information. And then you just select how many you want to do, and it shows $9. You add to cart. And right here, it's weird. It says free return shipping on 50 plus card submissions. I don't think this is a thing anymore. This is kind of outdated a little bit. And I do believe that it's like free return shipping on all orders, no matter how many cards it is. But then you add to your cart, and you see right here the total $9, 5 cards. And if I'm letting you in on a little secret, if you have a coupon, which if you just go on the internet, you can find coupons. One coupon code that I am aware of is if you go C3G 2025, I believe there's also a C3G 2024, you hit apply, you see that the coupon gave us $7.50 off. So as you see, the order for 5 cards was $45 in total. And then the coupon code saved us, I believe, $1.50 off of having each one of those cards graded. So instead of paying $9 per card, you only paid, what, $7.50? Yeah, $7.50 times the 5 cards is your $37.50. So either way, it becomes even cheaper. With a coupon code like this, you send off your collection or how many ever cards you want graded, and you can use a coupon code like this and get $1.50 off of every card that you submit. And if you want to submit to these guys, then there's a how to submit button here that'll actually bring you to this page. It tells you how to submit online. So you start the submission, enter card information. Just as I said, it's optional. You choose your quantity and your payment information. You've already seen about the coupon code. Then how to ship, which is kind of important. To prepare your cards, it says place each card in a clean penny sleeve, then into a semi-rigid holder like a card saver to protect it during shipping. I'll be honest, this may be outdated too. Yes, this is probably one of the best ways to ship your card, but later on I did receive an email from them after I actually completed the purchase in checkout. And it just said that it doesn't matter how you ship your card, just ship it and they'll take care of it from there. But if you do want to protect your card to make sure that it's not damaged in the process of shipping, this still is the recommended way to do it. Include your information and then ship to, and it gives the address to ship to. They'll handle the rest. And I assure you, they did handle the rest. So, this is the box. This has some of my cards in it. I have not opened this yet. I've been waiting. Let's check it out together. Let's unbox it and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so as you can see here, completely wrapped up black box. Does have a little bit of information on it there. You can see that it did come from C3Grading, and you can also see that the ship date was 11/4. So they shipped this back out on November 4th. I can tell you that this package was, the package I shipped to them was received on October 10th. So from October 10th to November 4th is how long it took for the process to be completed and for them to ship it back off. I didn't receive it until today, the 14th, but that's no fault of them. There's lots of stuff going on within the world right now whenever it comes to transportation and package delivery all across the entire United States and the world at this point. But they did their job. So that's step number 1. They said 2 to 3 week turnaround, I do believe. And looking at it, that was right at a 3 week turnaround. So let's bust this open. Got a knife here. And check out what is inside. Again, I have not opened this. This is my first time using their service. So this is a whole new experience for me because I've never had a card graded. I've seen graded cards. I know the experiences that my colleagues have had whenever it comes to using some of those bigger name brands like PSA and Tag. But with this being a smaller company, I'm not sure, I'm struggling actually a little bit. I'm not sure what I'm in for. Hopefully, they at least meet my expectations. This is half the video of me trying to open the box. Okay. So, we have a box. You see that it says C3Grading Next Level Card Grading. Before I open this, should I reveal what cards I sent off? No. Let's wait. I will say I sent off 2 cards. And I do not have high expectations for the cards that I sent off because I felt like I was taking a risk. With this being a small, unknown company and team who you don't hear much about, I really didn't want to risk sending off a very high valued enchanted or promo or something like that I may not get back. Maybe it's a ripoff. Maybe it's I don't know. So I sent off 2 cards that one I know that I can cheaply replace or reasonably replace, and the other I have 2 copies of, I do believe. So I sent one off in case something happens to it. I have a backup copy ready to go. So what do we have? And I'm super excited, to be honest, to see those one-of-one designed color matching pieces that they've put within the slab. Oh wow, they've glued this too. So this isn't just gonna come undone here. Alright, we're cheating a little bit. We'll come at it from the side. Set this to the side. Oh. Okay. So it's bubble wrapped. There's another piece of bubble wrap here, I do believe. Is that what this is? Piece of styrofoam. There's nothing there, just extra padding. Very secure. I mean, the box, the extra padding, the bubble wrap, very secure packaging. I know my cards have been at least taken care of. So, what do we have? And I like that they kind of hid them away too. Not only did you have the regular box that it came in, but now they're hidden away here. Trying to pop some bubble wrap. So C3Grading, next level card grading, dual graded. I don't know if you can see that. Dual graded AI assisted. That is one thing that I did not mention, is that one of their things that they do is when they grade your card, they make sure that it's not one person looking at it, that they have at least 2 different people who actually look at your card, go over it, and grade it. That way it's not ever an instance of you sending a card off and a person taking a look at it and being kind of picky that day, and being like, well, it's a 9, whereas if you sent it off the day before or the day after, maybe it's a 10 then, because not everybody is going to think the same way every time. I don't really know. I've seen the arguments whenever it comes to grading. So the fact that they have 2 different people looking at it, I really enjoy that. And this says everything on there. The 2 to 3 week turnaround, next level grading, date stamped slabs so you know exactly when it was graded, rapid submissions. They're really sticking by everything they say so far. So let's bust this open. I kind of want to go from, I want to make sure that we're doing the back of the card. All right, I pre-ripped the package because that was actually a little difficult to open. It was glued there too. But if we look inside, we have two cards that are slabbed. You see the C3Grading, and you can actually see the graded date on there. I believe we can focus it. All right, cool. And if we can focus it, you can actually get a fairly decent look there. And you can see that it was graded on October 21st, 2025. It has a grading report, and then you can scan it. And if you scan it, it'll actually take you to the report and give you the breakdown of all the subgrades, and it'll tell you why the cards got what they got. So you can just see that it's a normal Lorcana card. And I'll be honest, I did reach out to this company quite a bit before making a decision to send stuff off to them and ask them if they had ever dealt with Lorcana before. And I believe this actually may be some of the very first actual Lorcana cards that they have graded. So, with all of that in mind, let's finally check out and see what they have or what they graded it. Let's just flip this over, I guess. Oh. All right, so first off, everybody's favorite enchanted, the wall. And right away you can see that that is a 9.5, and they did exactly what I was hoping they would. They gave it the portrait, or not the portrait, but they gave it that actual landscape slab. So instead of setting like this, the way that it normally would, with a grade going across the top and it laying flat this way, they actually went vertical with it and gave all the grades that way. A 9.5, honestly, I'm really surprised by this. And they do a 0.5 scale. I'm not sure that my camera here is the absolute best quality. But remember, I didn't put any of this information in at all. I simply clicked submit, and they were supposed to find everything out on their own. It says 2024 Disney Lorcana Enchanted from Ursula's Return, The Wall. And you can see that corners got a 9, surface was a 9, edges was a 9. Centering and fading were both a 10. And it has that grading report, and I believe if you scan that grading report, it'll actually tell you both members who graded it, and it'll tell you the designer of that special looking art there that they had for the color matching. And I love how they color match this. The still location, also having the still on the side. This is so much cooler to me than that normal plain Jane PSA type of sticker or whatever that you see on the sides. And those metallic looking silver lines really show through. And I really like that art. A 9.5 gem mint. I'm pretty proud of that, I will be honest. That's pretty cool. I did send one more card off, so we'll check it out too. Try to let the camera focus real quick. And it is... oh, it's a 10. Wow, okay. This really surprises me and shocks the heck out of me, to be honest. So we have a gem 10. You see 10s across the board, corners, surface, edges, centering, fading, all got a 10 on this 2025. See, this is I'm curious about too. Disney Lorcana Enchanted promo number 3, The Beast Collection Quest. I love that they found this because I'll be honest, at the time of sending this off, I did look under a couple of other grading company stuff, and I hadn't seen a single one of these graded. So I was curious as to how they would find the information on it and what it would come out to be. And if you know anything about this card, and you've seen the memes, the collection quest that actually took place in Disneyland and California Adventure, these Beast promo cards At one point, they were all just stacked together, loosely, wrapped up in a rubber band. So when I shipped this off, I was not thinking that it would be anywhere near a 10. I thought the surfaces or something along the lines would have some kind of messed up situation where they were wrapped up in rubber bands like that. But you see, Gem 10, beautiful design again, that blue matching the beast's vest there, or his tux. That's super sweet. I really like this. I'm shocked they didn't play into the amber more, but as this prince character and his blue tuxedo, I don't mind that blue at top at all, and I still think it is way cooler and way better, again, than those plain Jane white PSA slabs that you see. The slab itself is decent quality. I don't hear anything shaking around on the inside that's not moving. This camera's really not doing it justice at all, guys. I normally don't have an unboxing setup at all. We typically use John's. But this, I am super proud of. Honestly, I'm kind of blown away. I'm not going to lie. Like, the grades themselves are cool. But just comparing this to some of the other companies that I've seen, I am super satisfied, I think, with the way that these came out, the way they look. These are really cool. These are really cool. Again, we can see the subgrades or whatever. Mind you, I paid $7.50 a piece to have these graded, and got them back in like 3 weeks or something like that. A month, if you take into consideration how long it took me to ship it out and the shipping back. But it only took them about 3 weeks to grade these, gather up all the information, to come up with custom designs for the slabs themselves that are supposed to color match the cards, and I think they did that fairly well, fairly decent. Again, the beast, I'm shocked that it's not amber, but I don't mind that Disney blue there at all. These are really cool cards, and again, I had an extra of the beast, and the wall is pretty replaceable. But after seeing this, and after all the information that I have now, and actually like getting these cards back, having them here, seeing them in person, the price that I paid for them, you cannot beat. I truly, let me say this. I truly think that this is probably the best bang for your buck value whenever it comes to grading cards. Best bang for your buck. Absolutely, by far. I mean, I believe that PSA alone, as that standard bearer, is like 18 something at their standard regular price, and that's not including any other hidden fees depending on how pristine your card is and what they value it at. Whereas these, literally $7.50 a piece to have these shipped off, that's $15 right there. $15 to have 2 cards shipped off. That's less than the price that you would pay for a single card from PSA or anything like this. This is a value that I can actually afford, and I no longer have to make a sacrifice and choose between whether I purchase cards to add to my collection or send my cards off. And I'll be honest, like, this makes me super happy and excited. Way more than it probably should, because at one point I thought it was well beyond my means to have cards graded in the first place. So I'm actually right here pondering at this moment. I'm like, oh man, how much would it be just to send the entire collection off? Because I think it's worth it. I really think it's worth it, guys. But if you enjoyed this video, or you have any other questions about my experience in C3 grading, maybe there's some stuff I didn't cover or I missed, then you can put them down in the comments. I'll try to answer them as best I can. This was absolutely fantastic experience. It blew my expectations out of the water for what this small company could actually do. And if you like this video and you like this kind of content and maybe this grading stuff, and you want to see some other cards, maybe I will send my collection off and I'll just do a unboxing whenever it eventually does return, and we could check out the grades for that entire collection of Lorcana cards and maybe some other cards from other things. and we could check out all of the different custom designs and labels that they created, because that's pretty neat in my opinion. Like, I can't wait to show these cards off and display them somewhere. So it's pretty cool. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this different type of content, and until next time, it's always a spot for you at the ink table.